Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on leechess.org and I'm going to play 15-10 game. Okay. Middlegame YouTube is the opponent. Alrighty. Let's start with e6. Well, I'm going to go with this. Bogo-Indian. Alright, now a decision point. a5 or a capture. There's also Queen e7. I'm going to play with something like this. So, okay. I'm one day looking forward to maybe clamping down on this structure now. So, kind of wanted to induce this move. I have to be a bit careful about maybe playing this too early. Here, really, knight c3, queen c2, kind of gang up on that pawn. So that's, I think, something more in the future. I think I might want to take into account my knight on f6, its post. So I'm thinking about d6 here and e5. The timing has to be right. If I castle knight c3, d6, e4, I'm not in time to play e5, and I might have to face e5 by white. So that said, let's begin putting some pawns on dark squares to make this guy happy. Alrighty. Oh, you know what? Here's another thing. I think there's a variation, yeah. Queen e7, e4, if I do this, takes queen g5. Hitting g7 in my pawn. That could get a little nutty. Okay, well there's not too much I could do about that. I think I've had this position before. Not in a standard game. Oh, okay, so white's going much more conservative. Alright. Well, I kind of had an idea to just give up this pawn and play for some activity there if white goes in for that. Here. I guess we could have a look at it afterwards if I remember. Okay. That's not happening. White is just working with a c4 d4 structure. What am I considering? Castles? Castles, e5. Yeah, castles are e5. I'm just trying to see if there's a great difference. If I do this, I'm giving up this square. Do I really care about that? I get in, I'm not going to be castling queenside. I'm gonna just go with castles. Not quite sure. I can't really figure out a difference between the two. Okay. I guess actually maybe if I played e5, this would stop bishop d3. Because I could capture and white isn't able to recapture because of the pin. But okay, after I castles, the bishop ends up not even going to d3, so that's maybe a difference at least. And I think we're now ready for e5. Yeah, let's go with e5, or I could go with this. No, let's go with e5. Now, what I would love to see happen Yeah. I was going to say, I'd love to see this push because of then this, and then circle the knight into c5. I did this in the last standard game I played. Alright, so queen c2 is a very good move. It's preparing to meet e4 with knight d2. Opens up d2, and it also prevents this a4 idea. Multi-purpose. Very good. What kind of game did we play? A 3-2, huh? Okay. I'm thinking about bishop g4, and yeah, am I okay with deploying the bishop already? May have to be a little bit careful. Here, no, I think I'll be alright with that. I'll be okay with playing g6 to cover the f5 square. There's no dark square bishop around. Gotta get my bishop playing. c6 is another move to consider. c6 with this idea I don't like because I give up a big square on b5. So basically if I play a5, trying to go forward with e4 and then securing it with d5 is kind of not a good idea. That square is too strong. Okay, so I'm not going to play c6. Let's get the bishop out. Okay. I was just double checking something. There might be something fancy here and the knight jumping in. All right. Now, is this maybe a little bit of a different story now, e4? If I play e4, knight d2, bishop takes, knight takes, could I get in this a4 move? If I do this and the knight moves after takes, I will be distracting one of these pieces from observing a4. Here, knight d2 I expect. Here takes a4, and if the knight returns... The knight returns, I still have to watch over this. Queen to e8, still watching e4 and defending this pawn. I don't know how I have a really complete development in that position. Does not feel natural. Maybe I could prepare it. Rook here first. Still keep this tension and then think about e4 next. Or even a capture. I'm going to hold my ground. I'm going to play... Yeah, let's play rook e8. Well, I could play b4 right now. I kind of want to see d5, so I could maybe get in this square. The tension remains between these guys. I could have also considered a flight square. Retaining flexibility with the queen knight. Not sure where it wants to go just yet. So I guess this is the first moment where white is really thinking. If my bishop is asked a question, I think I just drop back to h5. This is going to be a queenside game. Something's going to happen here. I mean, takes, knight here. I think I have to take. And then I'm thinking I have to play c6 and challenge that strong pawn immediately. Takes, I'm just recapturing and developing. Could have a little bit of a weird queenside structure. There'll be weaknesses. But I don't see too much action going on the king side. I mean, if I push with e4, that's kind of hinting that I want to maybe go after the king. But I don't think I'm really in a position to do that. Okay, so b4 on board. Yeah. I wonder if this is maybe a time to take and open up the center. Takes. Justify the rook move. I don't know that I want to take. This b pawn is going to be a great bother. Takes, knight c6, b5. Where am I going from there? This guy is struggling. I think I should keep this tension for one. I could still think about c6. It's tricky, to be sure. If I take here, knight takes. I'll have a square for my knight. I like that. If I take and pawn takes, that kind of bothers me. I think my queen will have to move soon, and I'm not liking my position so far. Well, I'm actually considering knight here, and then they push me back. Then they push me back. I'll be okay with trying to reroute. I don't like knight d7 because of knight b5. Although maybe that's alright. Knight d7, knight b5. Maybe I could try that. I gotta get a move in. Oh boy. It's not going so well. Yeah. Well, stay out of my pawn's way. Have to be careful. I mean, I keep thinking that there might be something with knight h7. My bishop is somehow unprotected, and okay. Let's see how exactly that's happening, but it's a thought at least. Here, pulling a key defender away, but I should be all right with the knights connected. Could always replenish this guy. If it was my move here, what should I do? Sneak in a flight square? Something fast? Probably could have played this a little bit faster. I was kind of, I don't know, I just thought that knight b5 would have been uncomfortable, but I could just move my knight. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Rook e8 and then this because it's timely, right? Knight b5, knight f8 just in time. Get out of the queen's way. Okay, I think this is okay. This is kind of harmonious. What am I expecting here from white? b5, put the rook on a square, ask my bishop a question. Takes, I wouldn't mind. c5 is getting really sharp. c5, maybe then I could go for something like this. I don't know. I'd still give up that b5 square. If I could get in c6, though, it'd be a different story. Yeah, c5, e4, knight, oops, c5, e4, knight d2, bishop takes, knight takes, and then I could follow up with d5. And the b5 square that I was concerned about earlier isn't an issue. Now, white has to be a bit careful, let's say, about the c4 square. So depending on how the pawns advance on the queen side, if I'm able to establish a pawn here, and the light square bishops are exchanged, I'm not long off from having a giant pest in white's camp. A knight on c4. Killer. So right now he's just a second ranked knight, but he could become a beast. So, working with light square bishops, pawns in the center are on dark. Tension remains. White is better here, I believe. Better placed knights. More space. That's the biggest thing to me. Space on the queen side. Now, I don't know if my queen is really going to be vulnerable. The white queen could be vulnerable depending on what happens with these guys. There may be a valuable tempo I could gain against the queen. Yeah, it's tricky. When you have this kind of a fluid structure, there's really a lot to consider, you know. There's a lot of different ideas White could go with. Just shut things down. Maybe with b5, c5, d5, I don't think is a good idea. I think White does well to maybe get a rook involved. Maybe this is an idea, even threatening to take and then take on b7. But I think on rook b1 I could play b6. Pretty sure the computer will be saying white is better here. Knight h4 is an idea. On knight h4, here's one thing. If knight h4 and I take, white has an in-between move with knight f5. I don't have to recapture on e2. So if knight h4, I could maybe just play this straight away. But my bishop may be very short on squares. Oof. Knight h4, g6. Maybe this is what white is calculating. Knight h4, g6 can be met with f3. Now the knight on h4 is unprotected, but I don't really have a good square to move my knight to attack the h4 square. Knight h4, g6, f3. If I go knight h5, this pawn takes my bishop and then is on my knight after queen takes knight. Okay, scratch all that. Okay, I'm assuming white is really gearing up for c5 advance to justify the rook position. It is closed, and the way that it would open up is with c5. I think that's a good move. Yep. Flight square time? And if so, which flight square? Maybe this, actually. Have an option for, Oh, here's the other thing. Not this move, but also knight here. Yeah, that's what's being lined up. Knight here takes, and then if I do this, I don't have enough defense of that. Okay, do I have to play c6 right now? I wonder. This? Ugh. Too many holes. Yeah, here takes. Oh no. That's not a favorable structure. White would have a connected passer, and this pawn would be half dead. Scratch that. Felt bad, it is bad. Alright, what do I want to do? e4. Here, light square bishop exchange. And then... I wonder... No, it's... Do I want to take, or push h6? I don't have a clear plan. c6, maybe stop what it is white wants to do. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna look to play against the knight. Yeah, this might be more of a practical decision than objectively best. Try and interfere with what it is white is clearly lining up. As otherwise, you know, white's maybe just going to follow right through and pull off another fast move. We have both eaten a lot of our clocks. And this is related to not having a defined structure, I think. So if c5, I think I'm ready to play d5. On d5, I'll reconsider the move c5 in this case because white won't be able to capture in a way where this pawn becomes connected and passed, or protected passed pawn. Now with my last move, I've weakened some dark squares. Can they be taken advantage of? I'm not seeing how that can happen. Okay. Now things are definitely changing. And I think to my benefit with that capture. Let's pull this move off pretty quick. Why do I like this position for me now? Exerting pressure here. Maybe white is going to go in for this maneuver. To be very careful, I was just pointing out the dark squares. I'm threatening to maybe win a pawn. Yeah, the B pawn would fall, but okay, at least I'm exerting pressure here. Okay, so now how can we maybe do something good? White has an idea to just drop in here. That's going to be a giant pain. Do I take now and create some tension between the rooks? Another thing is maybe, do I give up my bishop for the knight? Just so I don't have to worry about this? Tricky. I'm going to give this imbalance a go. And maybe get this rook somewhere else. Really considering capturing with the pawn. That'd be surprising. Oh, maybe they're considering, if they take with the bishop, I do this? I guess I could consider that. I was thinking just get on an open file and fight against even a rook arriving on d6. That could be irritating. Bishop takes e4, bishop e2. I can't get this move in because I'm blocking my major pieces. My e4 pawn would fall. I still want to keep this tension. This isn't a move I fear, nor is this. I want to kind of keep white guessing when will I open up the A file. White is really considering a capture with the pawn. Wow. Isn't a knight on h4 going to be brutal? I would love to see pawn takes. This knight is going to quickly arrive on h4. That's something I could shoot for. Do it. Do it. You know you want to take with the pawn. And there isn't something else I'm missing here now. There isn't a connection thing. White must really be considering a pawn takes. I mean, I don't know. I am giving white a file to work with, possibly. But I think it becomes more of a minor piece battle. I don't think I'd have to fear too much along the G file. I could always get one rook off real quick too. Or even have my knight sit here blocking this kind of a threat. Okay, let me consider just this. I have an idea at least with the pawn. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess they were really fearing e4. Let's go straight in for it. So we got two tricky knights and a queen on. And now some holes to work with. There are 3 holes now because of this last capture. 1, 2, 3 in this section. So the one that will be very annoying to white is a knight on h4. Now, these 2 knights are combating for the light squares in the center. And if they're exchanged, I kind of like that my queen's eyes are opened up along this diagonal. Now, if possible, I'd like to try and keep the queens on the board, because I have the safer king. Better shelter. I mean, if bishop here and then this, I'm okay. I still have a better shelter. White doesn't have a G pawn. So even in some instances where, let's say, I'm maybe down a pawn, as long as the queens are still on, possibilities for perpetual checks are nearby for me. Okay. Well, I don't want to see this. Let's just take the knight out. Queen's going to take up a nice post. So here. Yeah, that queen is going to be strong. Maybe is now the time to make this captures, otherwise this move? Knight g6 or a capture. Or a check. Nah, check is just ducks and to worry about that. Oh, well, okay, hang on for a second. Maybe I should shift gears some with my knight. Maybe this is the most efficient square to challenge the queen, because how else will I challenge the queen? I don't want to do this. I want to weaken my light squares. I'm going to opt for this, and I think this is a good decision because it also interferes with this idea. I could grab this pawn. So my primary aim is to find a better square for my knight and challenge this queen. So knight on f6, I'm giving up on this idea to put a knight on h4. I want the knight to rest right here. I'll have some nice follow-up moves at some stage. g6, king g7, slow, steady improvements. Okay, I think I need to get here right now. White can't run in for this too soon because of this tension. The rook would be unprotected as soon as the rook moves. Okay, now I could get another tempo against the queen. I'm going to sneak this in. I have this square covered. Rook d6 I take. Any rook lift. This is the most invasive, but I'll be protecting it. Queen here, I'll step up, so that rook d6 isn't hitting with tempo. I'll have 2 pieces on it. This is where my king wants to be anyhow. I think I'm the better side here. I think it slowly started to turn my way after white initiated the capture. And it's probably the case white is not feeling as comfortable with the position anymore, with the time edge that white did have. But it still remains tense. Where else is the queen going to go? I don't want to see this. What kind of productive role will this bishop play? Here? Here's the only thing. Okay. Maybe once more preparing this. Make one capture. I think I'm going to break the the tension now. Do I want to put my king on g7? Tough to say. All right, I'm just going to get it off of the back rank. It's debatable. You know, there could be some problems on this diagonal, but could be a problem here at some stage. Bishop taking with check, I don't know. Tough to say. Okay, maybe my h-pawn. This isn't a weakness that white can take advantage of. That's a weird move. I'm not sure what its point is. I thought b5 with the queen on c2. Thought b5 would be a good idea. Kind of break down the structure a little bit more. But okay. Here we are. Maybe I could race this pawn all the way up to h3 and look for some mate on g2. I think I'd like to not only keep the queens on, but also one rook. Keeps white a little bit honest. If this rook tries to get a little excited, I'd have to worry about the back rank. This shelter. This is what I keep coming back to, the king shelter. This one's cozy. I don't know how far I want to go with the pawn. I think going one more step is purposeful. Second one to h3, it could drop off if I'm not careful, but one step I think I'm cool with. Okay, or even maybe a push and then this and then that. No, there's h3. Okay, a rook lift. No, you know what? Maybe even both rooks off is okay. No, I think I'm going to stick with trying to keep one rook on. I go with h4. This is maybe a thing now that the rook is defended with the queen, so that's maybe the idea. Maybe it's time to get this rook doing something. Yeah. Let's get the rook on an open file. We're both on the only two open files. And yeah, remains tense. It's like blitz now, but we do have 10-second increment. All right. Let's go with this rook. Yeah. Rook here. I do have this, guarding my base points. I like the rook here. There's some nice harmony between my knight and rook. Maybe my queen could kind of look to do something besides sit on this e7 square. She only made one move, right? Okay. Wait a second, though. That's giving up this square in some cases if the queen goes too far. So I get in this move now. Sneak that in. Now make white start thinking about, you know, am I going to take away the flight square and then look for back rank tricks? So clearly some pressure on this square, but if I need to, I have this to defend. Knight defends rook, king defends knight. If my queen gets a little bit too aggressive, this can fall. Okay. It's probably a good decision, what white did there. Suppose I go here. Pressure on the pawn. Here. Here. Takes. Oh, no. Maybe even getting to this square. How do I get my knight? Where is there a good square for my knight? Oh, maybe this. Oh, I think I like that idea. My knight is killed by this pawn. Knight h7 into here. And then maybe queen here, and this collapses. Ooh, that might be something. I'm going to give that a go. Knight on g5. Queen on f6 as well. Yeah, I want to try and put pressure on these two pawns. They're both unprotected. So knight g5 is really going to put some constraint on white soon. This kind of stuff with this, I don't know that it's really would be working. Here's the other thing. A knight on g5 helps assist defending f7. Multi-purpose. If this, to stop knight g5, I could always take double isolated pawns, maybe return and do something along this file. Yeah, that'd be way too weakening. I think I found a good idea. If I'm not missing anything tactically, I have my base points. My queen is doing a good job defending my pawns. There's a check available. Let's keep an eye on the check. 2 checks available. 2 legal checks, not a good move at the moment. Rook d1. My opponent is under a minute. Okay, and if I jump in right now? What's the plan? I think I'm winning, no? Let's do this for starters. Also, let's be aware of this diagonal in case something opens up there. Queen is kind of off sides. So if bishop here, queen here, how is white defending queen takes pawn? Bishop here, I take here with check. White may need to do this, but then my knight is going on a rampage. Well, that's a bit much. Okay, here we go. So I could take and then play queen here. I have to worry about checks myself. Take first. Takes knight here, rook here. Takes here. I think I want to take first. Let's take. Yeah, this is getting tricky. Okay. Could play f6. It's an interesting intermediate move. Queen f6 takes. Here, takes, knight here, the bishop has to take. I still think I want to keep the queens on the board. Let's try this. Pin the pawn. Wow. Tough. Here and then here. Gotta go fast. Anything can happen. Oh, okay. Maybe here so I could get in this move. I'm gonna try this. Queen exchange can happen, but I have a square for my knight. Okay, I gotta take. So if this pawn helps out, I think that this is good for me. Okay. But my knight, isn't he a tricky guy? Okay, I think he has to go to a nice square. Well, I could try an intermediate move with this, but I do have a nice square. Okay. This? I think I want to go here. Keep pressure on stuff. That might have been a bad move. I think this is a good move now. Yeah, that pawn's fast. I do have a square now, though. I think that was a mistake. Giving up this nice square. My king was shouldered off. I was thinking rook here is available. That's not the case. I do have a check. This bishop goes too far away. So now if this, I could take and then win this pawn. Bishop is restricted. White is really tied up. Okay, so I could go for this now. Missing anything? Take? Whoa. Keep pressure on that bishop though, right? Don't have to go anywhere. Here, here. I win the bishop. Check. Maybe I should have pushed this pawn. It's passed. We both have passers. I have a check. Oh, check here and then here. The king has to go back. Let's save this pawn. My rook could at some point give a fork or something to the bishop. Where's the bishop's safe square? Reposition the knight now, I think. No, let's go with this. I don't want to give this square up too soon. All right, I'm going to go with this check now. The king has to go back. Otherwise, I get the rook. Put pressure on the bishop and look to push. Pressure on the bishop. Where's the bishop go? Here? Where's the bishop go? I think the rook has to go here. I could go here, hunting for a pawn. These two restrict these three. What am I doing if rook here? I think that's the best move. Just rook c3. If I exchange the rooks, I win. Let's keep that in mind. I think. Let's try this. Pressure on multiple points. Could win this pawn. Want to hang on to this. Let's try here. I don't want to give this pawn up too easily. Here I could take. No, yeah, I could. Here takes that move. I have a rook block. Okay, let's try this. We're both living off of the increment. Rook takes, I'll be taking with the knight. Just have to watch out for something fancy, like I want to hunt this pawn down. Okay. Let's see what's wrong with this? Because I have this covered. That move. Take. And then move my knight to a good square. Let's see. Let's go here. Rook here, check, here, check. Or just now simpler is this, and then have my king defend. Now my king will be here. I have everything glued together. Yeah, this is cleanest. Bishop's out of play now. Yeah, the bishop's not playing. Push this pawn through. How does the bishop play? I got these covered. It only has this square now. Opponent resigned. Whew. What a tough game. Felt like I was playing off the increment the whole game. Wow. Very, very tough resistance. That middle game position. Wow. Let's see. Before I go through the analysis. Yeah, I think things changed once white captured on e5. Yeah, I think there's going to be an evaluation change here. We'll see what the computer suggests for white. Maybe ask the bishop a question. Maybe c5. Trying to justify the rook move. Make the c file open up. Yeah, once it got to this endgame, that was a very interesting... I don't know. That was a big decision. I don't think the computer would be going with that. Just the bishop takes, and if e4 back up, and... Although, maybe with bishop takes e4, maybe I could kind of circle around like this, and it could be tricky. Yeah, pawn on e4, knight on h4, queen on g5. Do I have time to get that stuff in? I don't know. Made for an interesting game, to be sure, having this different structure. I like that I came up with that idea to put the knight on f6. But my opponent defended well. f4 was maybe a best move. In the in-betweener, yeah. Once we got here, I think I'm better in the endgame. With the queens off, I think I'm better. Maybe something else here. This might be something. No, it could be lost. Here's the thing. White is not playing with their king in this endgame. Okay, let's just jump into the analysis. I think somebody already clicked on it. Yeah, I'll check back in a little bit. So these arrows off. So I'm kind of just zipping through with one eye on the evaluation, looking for any great jumps. Got to share a lot during this game. Knight b to d7. Now I want to put my pawn on e5. Knight b to d7 and then b6. This is what computer wants me to do something like this. What am I doing on that move? Oh, okay, I have to be Mr. Timely, knight e4 and then this. Okay. I don't like playing b6. I want to keep open the option for this kind of a structure, like I eventually did in the game. It's more fluid. Like, I have potential for this. If I play b6, I'm never really, I don't know, I feel like I'm maybe subjecting myself one day to having that structure clamped down on with the pawn on b5. Just like I was talking earlier about clamping down on a4. This structure, or not clamping down on a4, clamping down on this structure with a4 if I'm playing b6 just to kind of make dummy moves. Something like this, b5 here. I didn't like this kind of possibility. Static structure, b pawn clamping down on b6 and c7. I know there's a lot of moves played, but it's kind of my train of thought. Steer clear of b6. Did I miss anything here? Wants to go with, okay, bishop g4. Knight b to d7. I think I spent a little bit too much time on that. Yeah, like a minute and a half on knight b to d7. Or no, rook to e8 I played first. Then b4. And I'm better here? Really? Why? I'm better by initiating a capture. This is where I spent, like 2 minutes with knight here. But apparently I could take, exchange rooks, and then I probably have a timely knight c6 move. Here, here. Oh, that is pretty slick. White would get back rank mated if a recapture on e4. Okay, that wasn't, I didn't consider all those exchanges. Ooh. Well, they certainly are forcing. I did not see that coming, though, to kind of give up the bishop for the knight like that, but yeah, there's a clear point with the back rank mate. Okay. And I could once more go in for this capture. What am I maybe not assessing properly with this sequence? Bishop oh, okay, it's the same tactic. Yeah, nothing really changed. Rook on F, rook on C, in the end it's recapturing on A1. Oh, okay, so it's that same tactic. Trying to take advantage of the back rank. So, wants to go with the B5 here. Yep. I think it makes sense to still hold this tension. It changes a little bit with that capture. Now rook a7. Oh, this one didn't cross my mind to try and double up and then threaten to take and do something on the a file. Okay, this is where I initiated the exchange. What's the, not getting anything here. Oh, there it is. Ooh. Okay. This is where we stand. Inaccuracies, mistakes, blunders for each side. Plenty for each. Doesn't like my decision to take the knight. And after g takes, I guess I'm better. It's even, and then I have an advantage. And then it's nothing at some point, but yeah, big decision here. White went with the very interesting g takes. So if this, what would I be doing? e4 here, and then bring the knight around to maybe h4. One of the ideas is if the knight is ever kicked, it could jump into a nice square. Kind of connects really well with this pawn. Knight on h4, pawn on e4, coordinate on f3. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to assess that structure. Went with the pawn. Knight takes. Does it like knight d7? h6. It does like knight d7. I'm glad I found that move. I was very tempted to try for something like this, but the queen is just so strong on e4. If I'm going to do anything, I have to make sure this queen's post is challenged. It's way too strong. So I'm able to gain a tempo against the queen. What else? Where is it changing? Still evenish. One rook off. Yeah, now it's a bit scary for white. Having to deal with this pawn, and queen and knight are still around. The rook as well. Knight h7. I'm happy to have spotted that move. Queen f6. Oh, queen f6. That way I don't have to worry about this f4 move. Queen f6 to put pressure here. Oh. Yeah, and now f4 is white's fighting back, so if I had played this first, I was in too much of a rush to play that move. Ah, queen f6 is nice. And on bishop e2, then knight g5. This knight isn't getting flushed away, and now there's even this idea. Converging on h3. Queen c4. Oh, I'm also on f3 with this last move. Yeah, so if king here, I'm just winning on h3. Ah, queen f6 instead of knight g5. Okay. I capture. I went with f6. Okay, I guess both f6 and king h7 is a move. Okay. And queen c7's alright. Rook d4 is another. Oh! Oh, what's this about? Wait a second. Oh, wow. This is a wild tactic. Rook d4, and if the knight is captured, I win the queen. Queen e5 check, and no matter where the king goes, I have a rook move with the discovered check. The queen is lost. Okay. I don't think I was in any position on the clock. Neither of us were in any position on the clock to find something fancy like that. Rook d4. Yeah, okay. Okay, I went with queen c7. Rook d4 once more. Also, yeah, that's the other thing. A fork. My knight is there defending d4 indirectly. Knight f3 is equal. Rook d4 is -3. Yeah, this is winning flat out. Bishop and pawn. Okay, I went into defensive mode. Yeah, they keep suggesting rook d4. Yeah, the queen exchange. I guess this is the last change in the evaluation after f5. f3 to keep my knight out. Yeah, I would have struggled. My knight would have had a very difficult time finding a good square. Even if he gets to f6, he's under control by this pawn. But once he's here, he's annoying. And if he's kicked, he's still annoying. He gets to g3. So white went with a queen exchange, and I think it's a lot easier for me to play here because my king is playing and white's isn't. Just goes downhill from there. Whew. Tough game. Very tough game. So, anything more to add? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm just pushing through. This is the last idea. Just have that pawn defended. I think I could have also gone in for this, and then this, and then that. a little bit fearful of that move because my knight is kind of stranded. But I guess I'll be there in time. But I just kind of saw it. If I get my king to c5 and this guy's defended, these pieces aren't, none of the white pieces are playing this endgame. So, this is where white resigned. Wow, very tense game, to be sure. Anyhow, as usual, feel free to leave any feedback to this one in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.